The Wolf in Sheep's Clothing, an adventure fable. Once upon a time, deep in the woods, there was an old witch who lived in an old, spooky house. She was known to be very wise, and none of the creatures of the forest dared to bother her. But one day, a strange wolf appeared at the door of the old witch's house. The wolf had disguised himself in a sheep's clothing, and he spoke in a soft, gentle voice. He said he was a lost sheep, and that he had wandered into these woods accidentally. The old witch was suspicious at first, but after some time of talking to the wolf, she agreed to take him in for the night. Little did she know that the wolf had a plan of his own. That night, while the old witch was sleeping, the wolf crept into her kitchen and started to prepare a large feast. He cooked up all kinds of delicious dishes, and filled the table with food. Then, he went outside and called all the other wolves who were hiding in the woods. The wolves all came running, and the wolf in sheep's clothing sat down with them, and they all enjoyed the feast he had made. After they had eaten their fill, they started to plan how they would take over the old witch's house. The wolf in sheep's clothing had tricked the old witch, and he had outsmarted her. He had used his cunning and devious plan to fool her, and it had worked. The other wolves had followed his lead, and they were now ready to take their revenge. The old witch awoke the next morning to find her kitchen in a mess. She was furious, and knew right away it was the wolf's doing. She quickly gathered her ingredients and began to cook up a spell. When the spell was finished, she shouted out loud and all the wolves scattered. The wolf in sheep's clothing, however, was not so lucky. The old witch had used her powerful magic to turn the wolf back into his natural form. The other wolves were so frightened of the old witch's power that they ran away and never returned. From that day forward, the old witch was safe from the devious wolves. And the wolf in sheep's clothing was never seen again.